Hey, what's up everyone, it's your girl Rain Shanae, and today is the 6th day of Vlogmas. So what I'll be doing today is sharing with you my November wrap up. I thought it was about time that I shared that with all of you. Sorry that it's a little late. So let's go ahead and jump right into what I read in November. So I read a total of 4 books. One of the books that I read was Some Other Now by Sarah Everett. I only had a NetGalley copy of that book, so I was able to review it. And for that book, I was part of Hear Our Voices book tour. So over that, you will see the review and everything for that video. So I'll leave that up above so you get a better, a more understanding of the book itself. And also you can watch that video after this one. And so another book that I read, which I highly recommend to anybody, everybody pretty much, and that is Before the Ever After by Jacqueline Woodson. I give this 5 out of 5 stars. This book was absolutely amazing. I love the characters. Jacqueline Woodson has done it again with this stunning book. As you can see, the cover is gorgeous, and it follows pretty much a boy and his father along with his mother regarding, because his dad is a professional football player. And so for that, the son, he's realizing that his father is starting to not remember things. He's starting not to be himself, and his mother is also recognizing this. And so with that, they start going to doctors, getting second opinions, third opinions, everything like that from different doctors, and they just don't know what's going on with his dad. And so finally they think that it's since he had so many concussions during his time playing professional football, and what have you, he has CTE, which is a condition, a disease that many football players do develop or do have during their professional careers playing football. And that has been something where I know even in for a few years now, many wives and children are suing the NFL for this because a lot of their husbands, their dads and everything are very sick. And with this book alone, with his dad, he screams and holds his head saying it hurts, because literally, like with football, your body is not built like that to be hit that hard that fast. So literally your brain is rattled, and our bodies are not capable of dealing with that. We're not built like that. So there's a lawsuit out for the NFL, I know for sure, with many mothers and wives and everything dealing with this right now, and they want better protection for NFL players. And I know that there's been a lot of rules involved with NFL each year. They do rules for the quarterbacks and everything like that. No, you can't put your head down when you're about to tackle. You can't do anything like that. But still, even with that alone, being hit that hard, with that much impact, with that much force, our bodies cannot take. So I really enjoyed this book. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. And I can even read the synopsis for you. It says, for as long as ZJ can remember, his dad's been everyone's hero, a popular pro football star. He's as beloved to the neighborhood kids as he is to millions of sports fans. But lately, his dad's forgetting stuff and has turned moody. The doctors think it might be because he's had so many concussions, but they're not sure how to help. That stings, and so does the day his dad embarrasses him in front of his friends. ZJ's scared and has lots of questions. Will his friends stop coming over? Will his father get better? And are their glory days gone forever? For now, though, ZJ's just doing his best to get by, taking comfort in his music and the friends who do have his back. Somehow, whatever's coming next doesn't seem half as scary with them cheering him on. National Book Award winner Jacqueline Woodson's powerful novel in verse celebrates our ability to adapt and bravely go forth when not every happily ever after can be counted on. So that pretty much sums up what this book is about. Like I said, I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. I think it's for especially parents who want their kids who want to play football, or parents that their kids want to play football. I know my family has mentioned that maybe my son or both my sons might want to play, and I'm very against it. But if my sons say they truly want to play, then that's another story. But I'm not going to force that upon them. I don't agree with the small leagues. I think that when kids are that young and already have concussions, that's already just terrible. I just do not agree with it on my end. But yeah, so a 5 out of 5 stars for this book. Next book I read, I got this from Fairy Loot. This is the Fairy Loot edition, and that is The Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. I believe she had done all the Jack the Ripper books, I believe, series, and so she started a new series with this book. And as you can see, the cover is beautiful, and the end pages are absolutely gorgeous, by the way. So for this book, I rated it at 3 out of 5 stars. This pretty much deals with 2 twins. Amelia is one of them, and I believe her other one is Victoria. I forgot for a second, Victoria, and so they are witches. But they try to keep that amongst themselves as a secret. They also own a restaurant, and this is located in Sicily, which is located in Italy. So they have a restaurant. They pretty much cook everything. They do services for the restaurant, and they pretty much were raised by, of course, their parents, but also by their grandmother, who taught them everything there is to know about being a witch and their secrets and what have you, and not to fall upon, and not to pretty much be involved with the princes of evil or which have you, because there's different types of princes. There are demon princes, and one that Amelia deals with is Wrath, who is one of the princes who is sort of enthralled with. It's just really weird, their relationship. But yes, it's set in Sicily, and so Amelia's twin sister Victoria is murdered and killed, and her heart has been carved out of her body. And right now Amelia is trying to figure out who did this, and so she captures Wrath at the beginning, and she feels like Wrath is the prince that killed her sister, but it wasn't. So she's on this venture on finding who killed her sister, and then as she ventures around Sicily looking for who killed her sister, she deals with a lot of demons, snakes. She also deals with other princes, like princes of greed. And then she also deals with a prince. I forget what the other one prince. I think there was Wrath, there was Greed, and there was also another one. Let me see, because once I look at the map, I'll be able to remember which prince it was. So yes, it was Prince of. So we had Wrath, who she captured, Prince of Greed, who they became bad enemies, and then you have the Prince of Envy, who at the end we've realized that Envy is the one that was part of the problem and the reason why Victoria was killed. But there's a lot of things going on with that as well that I didn't want to get into. But the only reason why I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars is because I feel like there was a lot of Amelia talking about the scenery a lot. It was like prolonged, I feel, for this book. I feel like some of the things were very unnecessary that I think that didn't have to be included in the book, and it just kept going on, and then at one point there was just no action at all. It was just repetition of the same thing. But of course, as you get closer to the end, it gets interesting again. But in the middle of the book, it does get a little hard trying to read it through. But I did give it 3 out of 5 stars because it really was a good book. It's just I got lost and wasn't really compelled to reading it in the middle of it. But I forced myself to read it, and then at the end, it did pay off, and it was a very good book. So like I said, 3 out of 5 stars. This is the first book out the series. I'm not sure when the second book comes out, but I'm looking forward to reading more about Amelia, what have you, and the Prince of Wrath and all the princes. So we have this book, 3 out of 5 stars. And the fourth and final book, I also gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. This has been a popular book this year, especially in BookTube, and that is Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I really enjoyed this book. This book is obviously located in Mexico, but it's in a city, in a small city, that the main character Noemi is going to be visiting her cousin, because I believe Noemi's father received a letter from their cousin saying that she needs to come visit her and everything like that. So her dad, Noemi's dad, sends her out to go visit them, and where they live, it's called High Place. That is their mansion, where it's their Catalina, which is her cousin's name, lives. And as she ventures off and tries to see what's going on with Catalina, because her letter was very weird, and a lot of chatter on the like she wrote a lot of things that just didn't make sense to her, so that's also compelled her to visit her cousin. And so Noemi's father also told her that her husband is also weird everything like that, and you should definitely check on her, and if she needs to come home, bring her back home. So that's what Noemi did. And as she goes to High Place, the mansion, Virgil is Catalina's husband that she married. They didn't really know each other that long, but they just got married mysteriously, and Noemi found that obviously weird, and she was curious about that. And as you get deeper into the book, you start realizing certain weird things. You can't, like when Noemi reached High Place, no one was able to talk, nothing, smoke. No conversations at all. It was just really quiet. And then on top of that, the house was filled with mold. It was just dirty, dusty, just everything. And it was just, it was a weird read. And so the reason why they have this mansion in the first place is because the family owned mines during the time, it was before the revolution and during time of the revolution in Mexico. And as the revolution got on, they started losing money and they started losing people and workers, but also the workers were dying of mysterious illnesses that weren't people really didn't know what killed them in the first place and what disease or anything like that. So that was a mystery in that city alone. And so within this mansion, you have Virgil, who is Catalina's husband. You have Francis, who is the son of, oh goodness, I forgot her name because she was just a terrible person. She was so annoying. Yeah, Francis is, I believe, the nephew. And then Francis's mother, I forget her name, her mother lives there, his mother lives there. And then you have Howard, who is pretty much the man of the household, who is very old and has this ideal that people should mate with who they feel more like more groomed, I guess you could say. It was really weird how Howard described people, and how people, in order to have good breeding, you should stick with, you know, people that you know, people that have money and stuff like that. But I will let you know, there's trigger warnings in this book as well, which I really did not like. I think it turned it off for me, which is why I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars to begin with. And that was because it deals with incest, rape. It also deals with burying people alive, cannibalism. It was a lot at the very end of this book, the last 100 pages. And I think that's, and then you know, I think that's when I also lost it, because at the beginning of the book, it was very good. I was intrigued, but the closer I got into the middle of it, it got really boring, you know, repetitious. Noemi just kept going back and forth trying to figure out what's going on with this household, what is going on with Catalina, because also Catalina also have these she has this sickness where she's always tired a lot, always blurry, and just is not in, I guess she's not conscious in a way of what she says. And it starts to make sense of everything and all of that towards the end of the book, which, like I said, really got weird real quick. I really wouldn't say like it was very scary like some people may have predicted this book to be, but it really wasn't. It was just really weird. But towards the end, it was very nice. There was like a little love affair between Francis and Noemi, which I was intrigued. I think that's what also compelled me to keep reading the book more, because there was some type of romance within this Gothic book, which really compelled me to read it and go on and finish reading this book. Because I'm gonna let you know right now, in the middle of the book, I got that bored and I just wasn't interested in reading it. But I was like, okay, I'm just gonna keep going. I want to know what happens. I need to know what happens at the end, what's going on with Catalina, the house, Howard, all this crazy and weird things. And, you know, all these mysterious things about the family, and how Howard married his daughters and then had kids with his daughters, and then married two other women who were sisters. It was just really weird real quick, let me tell you. So yeah, I rated it a 3 out of 5 stars because like I said, I enjoyed like the beginning of the book, and the middle of it was terrible, and then the last 100 pages I was like, what the heck? Like, I was just like, okay, this definitely went left for me. But yeah, the writing was very good. I love the setting. I love the cover of the book. It's just, I wish there's a little bit more. I wish it didn't go left so badly. Just like all that stuff, cannibalism, incest, rape, burying people alive as well. Yeah, that had me going for a spin, for real. But anywho, like I said, 3 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. It came out this year in July, I believe. So yeah, I know a lot of people enjoyed it. I'm not saying this is a bad book. I'm just saying that it definitely caught me off guard. That's all I have to say. But that is this book, 3 out of 5 stars. But that is it, you guys. So I read a total of 4 books, and this is the physical copies that I have of these books. I had a great reading month in November. I think it went really well. I wanted to read at least one more book, a 5th book, but I just couldn't push it in, and with my schedule and my daughter's learning with virtual learning, and also with Thanksgiving and stuff like that, my schedule was just a lot crazier than I expected. I tried to push 5, but I'm glad I at least got 4. I read 4 in November. That is it, you guys. That was my November wrap up. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Also hit that subscribe button and that bell to be notified when I upload more videos in the future. But thank you so much for watching, you guys, and please stay healthy and stay safe. See ya.